Hello, everyone. It's Vlada here, co-founder and CEO of ClassTag, and today we have an amazing guest and a great topic. We're going to talk about fresh ideas for parent engagement and how you can continue building community in the springtime. And today I'm joined by fantastic Danielle, who's been one of the first ClassTag users, and I'll tell you some secrets about some of the actually design and some functionalities that she suggested that are now part of the platform and loved by thousands of teachers. So that's very exciting. And Danielle is an amazing teacher, and I think been teaching for about 3-4 years now. And I'll let Danielle introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Danielle Fugazzi. I currently teach first grade. I've been teaching for 4 years now. Before first grade, I taught kindergarten for 3 years and have had a chance to get to know the little ones. And I love teaching the younger ones, just seeing them learn and grow and become independent, which is more reasons why I love ClassTag, given that I have 30 students in my classroom for the whole year. Getting parent communication out can be really difficult. Because I have parents who need more of my support, as well as parents who kind of just know their kids, their students doing well, and they don't need as much communication. So ClassTag allows me to get the communication that I need out to parents. They get to respond the way that they want to respond to me, and I make it really fun and engaging for them. I also teach in New York City, by the way.
What do you teach?
I teach in New York City.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Well, thank you, Danielle. Certainly very excited to have you today. And I think one of the things that I wanted to start with is, as we were just chatting before the sort of the interview started, the spring is a particular time. On the one hand, it's really critical time when, depending on the grade, you have various either state tests happening or assessments happening when certain critical things are happening for the students, and there is sort of more stress in the system. On the other hand, it's also the time when some of that engagement can be kind of fading off, and generally you see a lot of teachers and parents starting off new year fresh, and then by the time you hit spring, some things sort of can get off track. So how are you thinking about it? What are some of the challenges that you're seeing?
Well, I think you made a good point where now is like a stressful time because students are starting to get into state testing. There's schedule changes depending on when the state tests happen, and parents need to know a lot of what's going on in the classroom because in terms of their academics and other things like that. So a lot of times it's hard to get every parent to know what's going on. So I've used ClassTag to sound out announcements, to give reminders of just want to let you know that this assignment's coming up, and make sure that your student has handed in their assignment. I am able to upload study packets, any extra work that they can download and print out at their own convenience. I set events to let parents know when certain tasks or assignments are coming up. And with that, it's when it sends out the generated message, from that I'm able to see through a stat page which parents are actually reading what I'm posting. And the ones who I see that aren't as engaged, or I don't see logging onto ClassTag, I'm able to notify them in a friendly way. Just want to know that you received the information that I sent out for your student. So it makes it easy because it kind of filters out which parents I need to actually contact. I always have started my communication that way, where I send out a general announcement, event, and through that, I'm able to see which parents are looking at the information I'm posting. And after that, I'm able to send out a friendly additional reminder, or I'll reach out through email or text or phone call, or when I see the parents at dismissal. So I try to make it not too invasive for the parents, but I'm still able to get the communication I need out as well as get the answers I need right away.
Yeah, that's a fantastic strategy, Danielle, in terms of sort of getting the information out to everyone, and then really seeing who needs sort of more tailored efforts, and to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And certainly doing it with 30 families is pretty much impossible. So that makes a lot of sense. And what are the I guess some of the common how do you communicate with parents? Is it happening pretty much you would say daily? You have interactions what is kind of your system? I also heard about your student of the week and how you're profiling that. And so tell me more, kind of what does that look like on ongoing basis, and how in a crazy busy classroom and everything that happens outside of it, you manage to maintain that system?
Well, I'm pretty organized with my systems in terms of getting out communication to parents. I try to find time in my day to get out certain information. So every single Monday, usually during my first prep, I have a picture of the Scholar of the Week. I write a little blurb of why I picked a certain student for it to be their week. Usually it means that they tried, or they did well in their academics, or they've become more of a leader in the classroom. So I take a picture, I write a little blurb. I also check reading logs on Monday. So a way to get parents more engaged in reading with their scholar, I'll shout out the scholar who read the most books or has shown a huge improvement in how much they read with over the course of the week. And then usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, any events that are coming up is when I try to post events through ClassTag, because a really great feature is I can post as many events as I want, and they'll all come out at the same time. So my parents aren't getting bombarded with email after email after email saying, this is now uploaded on ClassTag. So it makes it easier for me, because I know once Friday comes, when my weekly email gets automatically sent out, all those events will come up for the following week. And there's also been an email already sent out on the Tuesday that lets my parents know of the upcoming events. So I'm able to use ClassTag to the best of my ability, because I know exactly when I'm posting certain things. When something comes up and I need to let my parents know in that moment, we do dismissal outside. So all my students get dismissed to their parents each day. So if there's inclement weather and dismissal is going to be inside, I could just write a quick announcement, let parents know what's happening. That's something that they need to know in the moment, because usually they're picking up in the next 30 minutes. So it sends out the email, and they can also check ClassTag if they wanted to. I find it important to be cautious with how much you communicate to parents. You don't want to over bombard them with too much information. You want the most important information to come out first, and the stuff that can take time, it doesn't need to go out right away, comes out in a slower pace. That's why I really like when I can upload all the events I know that's coming up in the future. Even events that are coming up in June, I could post now, and it will just come out when the time is right through the ClassTag app.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And actually, the little secret I wanted to share is that we pretty much came up with newsletter, automated newsletter from the conversation we had with Danielle probably about a year ago. And she said, wouldn't it be fantastic if I have newsletters that write themselves? And that's pretty much what we try to create. So certainly, I think working with amazing educators full of ideas for how to improve things is how we build a product that teachers love, and we'll continue listening and learning and getting those ideas implemented. So thank you. One question I wanted to ask you is, are you seeing sort of some correlation in terms of how parents are consuming information or looking and volunteering, participating, to how sort of the academics look like for the class? Do you see that there is definitely a lot of research that suggests that sort of parent involvement is critical for student success? Is it something that you are seeing kind of in your own experience, just practically speaking?
Yes, I think in order for any student to be successful, the parents need to be involved as much as they can. It shows that you respect your child and you care about their education. Before I worked at the school I work at now, I worked in an inner city school where parents were not engaged at all. There were students who were reading way below grade level by, I would say, 4 years. And unfortunately, these students were not academically performing well. They were also not behaving well. They were in areas where they were just giving into drugs, alcohol, things like that. And I think a lot of it had to do with parents not being as engaged with their student. And now that I see that I work in a school where I have parents who will come in and congratulate other students for becoming Scholar of the Week, it's just a very positive environment. And the children want to do well, not only for the parents, but for the teachers. And when everyone's on board and everyone actually cares about not just their child, but the child next to them and the child living above them, it makes a world of a difference. The children want to learn more, and there's a lot of positive incentives and a positive community. So I definitely see a huge difference from where I used to teach and where I am now. Children are academically performing better than I think they would if they were in an environment that wasn't as positive and had parent engagement.
Understood, Danielle. And we talked about kind of your general communication system. What would you say, now you've been using ClassTag, of course, from very early days to sort of what it became, and it continues to evolve and adding functionality. What has been sort of the biggest impact that you've seen from implementing it in your classroom?
I think organization. And through organization, there's so many things that have helped my classroom community, because I remember things that are coming up because I'm able, like I said earlier, put everything that I need to in ClassTag. It could be that's due tomorrow, in a week, in a month. And through that, there's so many outlets within ClassTag that allow parents to get the information. And it's impacted so much of my organizational skills, my parent engagement. I have parents that from other classrooms that actually want to use ClassTag because they're able to see all the information that's coming up in the week. I love to post pictures and videos, something I didn't really do last year with ClassTag. This year, any event that we're doing in the classroom, I love to post pictures of my students. I have parents who will email me and say, thank you so much for sending that. Mm-hmm. But the newsletter, back to what I was saying about how ClassTag has impacted me in terms of organizing, the newsletter has everything that I have inputted in ClassTag, and it organizes it. It aesthetically looks pleasing to look at. If you looked at the newsletter, it looks official. It does the week at a glance, where through the different symbols, you can see and if there's open activities, events that are coming up, and underneath it gives a description. So it saves me so much time, because anything that I've written in the description under an event automatically gets copied and pasted into the newsletter. So parents are not only seeing the event, but they're also getting the newsletter, which has that same information. So it helps them get the information, and it's also reminding them. So seeing it not only once, but twice, I've had more parents actually come. I have the most parents who come to my museum day, which is a day where we celebrate the curriculum they've been learning for a month. I have to say my principal's floored. He doesn't understand how I'm able to get so many parents to come. It's a party, and it's so much fun. I look forward to it. It's my chance to not only get my students to be with their parents, but I'm able to communicate with them. It's a lot of fun. So it's hard to say how it's impacted me one way, because it's really made my life 1,000 times easier.
Right. Right, but I think one of the visible things, if you're saying that relative to other classrooms, you have sort of a lot of parent participation. Of course, the biggest credit goes to you, but I think there is something about the sort of just using technology to help enable that.
And I think now with this day and age in our society, that's how we're going to reach our parents. I have a lot of young parents at my school, and a lot of them have social media apps that they use. And if we want them to get the information we're asking them to understand and receive, I think we have to find a way to get to their outlet. And that's why I also like how ClassTag, when I look at last year, I can go back to my year prior with ClassTag, and I have a whole year summary of everything I did with my students. I can still see which parents were engaged. I actually have a lot, since I moved up with my class, I can see which parents are engaged from the year prior, and I have to say it went up by like 35%. I had one parent who would never even go on ClassTag last year. This year, not only has she participated, she's strong in terms of her participation. So it's impacted a lot.
Awesome. Well, that's certainly music to my ears, and very excited to hear about the impact to your personal organization and how things get done, and of course to parents and ultimately children who get this kind of great community supporting them. I think that from this perspective, I think that that pretty much covers all the things I wanted to talk about. But the last sneak peek is I wanted to ask Danielle. We just rolled out today, literally an hour ago. We launched it to all the users in ClassTag. One-on-one messaging and group messaging. It's been around for a little bit of time for a select group of beta users, including Danielle, and I wanted to ask her about how sort of the one-on-one messaging, how that sort of makes sense in the context of her communication system.
So I've been able to use it for about a week now, and what I love about the one-way messaging is that now everything is in one place. A lot of teachers have email, they have ClassTag, they may have another website, they have their cell phone where they have to text parents. So with the one-way messaging, it's all in one place. And what's really awesome now is when parents used to respond back to me from like a weekly email, or if I sent out an announcement, when they would answer the announcement through their email, it would go back to my email, which would sometimes be a little difficult because I would go on if I went on the website, it wasn't there, but I would have to send back an email from my email, which would go to their email as well. But right now it goes all the way to the ClassTag app and on the website. So everything's in one place. So when I sign on, I'll get a notification that a parent has answered my email, and I don't have to go through my email anymore, which is awesome. So everything's in one place. It's quick. It's easy. You can message all your parents, or you can message a select few or a group of parents. And one of the parents actually responded back to me really quickly, which was great because sometimes with email, it takes a while to refresh. And she answered me right in the moment. I was able to schedule a meeting with her, and it was great. And it's really colorful too. Which
Awesome. Well, colorful is certainly a feature across the board. We want to make it fun and engaging, and to make sure that people really come back and parents want to use it, and it's very easy. Danielle, thank you so much for everything you do every day in your classroom, and thank you for inspiring the whole ClassTag team to create more great features. And thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.